Hello and welcome to the Django DRF API Query Fundamentals course. My name is Xander. Now this tutorial is part of a whole course playlist available for free on YouTube. For deeper learning, the full course is available for purchase at Udemy. Find all of these resources and links in the video description. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel for weekly promotions, discounts, and Udemy course giveaways. Before building a database, it is essential to design its structure. This ensures data is organized, scalable, and efficient. In this course, we start from the point which the database has already been designed, so we won't work through the normalization process. In this tutorial, I'm going to introduce you to the database design, our ERD, Entity Relationship Diagram. I'll show you how to make a few changes to it if you wanted to make a few changes with the software that we're going to use. It's completely free software online, so everyone should have access or be able to access this diagram. And we'll utilize this diagram throughout this course to reference it for whenever we are developing or maybe querying from the database. Right, so head over to draw.io. So that's going to take you to this page here. We can open an existing diagram. Now, if you head over to the resources connected to the introduction primer of this module, you'll be able to download the ERD diagram, and then you can go ahead and open an existing diagram, select that download, and that will open up. So what you're looking at here is an entity relationship diagram, a schema of the database that we're going to build in Django. The ERD diagram, entity relationship diagram, is a visual representation of the database schema or design. It helps in understanding how tables or entities relate to each other. So what we see here is a number of entities. These entities will be turned into tables in our database. If we take a closer look at one of the entities here, you can see that we have described the attributes. So these are the columns that we're going to find in the database table, in this case the products table, and we can see the relationships connected to it. And also I've indicated in this ERD which fields are primary and foreign keys, and also the data types for each of our fields. We'll learn more about that as we start to build our Django models. So with regards to the relationships, we can see the lines connected between tables indicating a relationship, and the type of relationship is modeled by the icons that I've used here. So here we have a 1, a line, just a 1, and at the bottom of this relationship we have a crow's foot indicating many. So we have a one-to-many relationship between category and product, whereas between stock management and product you can see there is a line, a single cross line at the top, and at the bottom indicating a one-to-one relationship. So those are the type of relationships that we're going to see and learn about. Between products and promotion event, in actual fact, we have a many-to-many relationship, a different type of relationship. Here we have a link table or through table, which is required when we have a many-to-many relationship. Now this diagram serves as a reference point so that we can start building a database from a design, and as we start querying the database, this will be useful to help us try and determine how to query across tables. Now don't worry too much in regards to the context of this design. This is meant to be some sort of inventory database. What's important here is that this database design has all the properties and attributes of a database which you will be developing or working with, and that's the most important part here. So it has one-to-many, many-to-many, one-to-one relationships. It has multiple entities and multiple types of fields. If you wanted to make changes to this, let me just briefly give you a few tips. So here, when I press space, it gives me the icon I can drag and move around. I can zoom in using my mouse, of course, and the options button here on the Mac, or up the top here we have zoom in and zoom out. Now, if you wanted to make changes to any of these entities, for example, add new fields, if I select a field, I can select fields and rows on the left-hand side here. On the right-hand side, if I go to arrange, that's going to give me then the tools to add new records and columns. Rows and columns, sorry. And I can press Command and Z to go back if I make a mistake, so I can I build in all directions if I want to. So that's how I'm going to extend. Of course, if you can just double click and change names if you need to do that. Now you notice that I have separated keys from other columns. So this is just a line. So if I select this row, go over to Style, select Properties. Here I have a whole bunch of different options. One of them is the bottom line here. You can see I can add and remove that line. Now in terms of saving this, you don't need to log in, as you probably already noticed, to this. If you want to save this, File and then Save As, there's multiple options here. If you are saving to your local machine, then download is what you're going to need, and it will remember that. So when you press Command and Save or Control and Save on Windows, it will end up saving that directly, so you won't have to choose that every time you want to save the diagram. Now, one of the issues of doing that is that it continues downloading files. You end up with multiple files, but if you can handle that, then this is a very simple tool to use, which provides a very powerful set of tools. So we've learned that an ERD diagram, an entity relationship diagram, is a visual representation of the database schema or design. It's going to help us understand how tables or entities relate to each other. It helps us identify the entities or tables that we need to build in our Django models, the attributes or columns that we need to develop, and also the relationships that we need to also create between the tables. Now all we need to do is start to build our Django models from this design. So in the next tutorial, we'll start that by defining our database tables within Django models.